What's up guys, how's it going, and welcome to the Minute channel. We have another discussion video here today regarding Persona 6. Now Persona 6 is around the corner, we all know it. We talked about this plenty of times. I have a whole lot of videos here regarding Persona 6, but today's video is regarding the calendar. Now the calendar, I think, is one of the most iconic parts of the Persona series. I think it's one of the parts that whenever you think of like Persona, the calendar is definitely one of the top things that I kind of think about, along with like the visual novel style and the RPG thing and everything. And it's because it really blends together with both of those things that I just mentioned, the RPG style, but also blends so well with the visual novel thing that kind of works together along with both, and it gives you a very interesting experience. Very few games have calendars in the games, and they utilize them in very different ways. Persona does it in a way that makes you feel like you're role playing, right? As in an RPG, because you are playing as you're role playing as a high school student, and you are living the day-by-day life of a high school student, and it really does kind of give you that sensation of going day by day, going to school, getting a part-time job, hanging out with friends, doing all this stuff. And it does it in a manner that it kind of forces you to go through this as you're going along with the story. So not only does it affect the gameplay, but it also affects the story itself and how it handles the pacing and everything along with that. That's one of the reasons why I think the calendar in Persona works so well, and that's one of the reasons why I find this to be one of the most important aspects of the series, like almost like a core aspect of the series. However, in a recent interview, not really that recent, but from last year, Persona 5 Strikers director, who's also gonna be working on Persona 6, mentioned that they were looking into either replacing or revamping the calendar system. I thought that was interesting, and I did talk about this a little bit before, but I never actually made a video talking about the calendar system and kind of what I would like to see if they were to change the calendar system. And today, this is today's video here, topic here, and I want to hear your comments down below. What do you think about this? Would you like a change for the calendar, or is this something you're kind of like, I don't really care? Now, to even begin with this, Persona 1 and 2 actually do not feature a calendar. You never play neither two games, but it does not require one, because although you are playing as a high school student, you're not playing as a high school student in high school during the high school life. You're actually kind of more intertwined with the story, with a lot of things going on, and frankly, in those storylines, the least of your worries is high school. On the other hand, Persona 3, 4, and 5, you are really just going your day-by-day life as a high school student, and because of that very crucial part of the story, it really just wouldn't make sense for Persona 1 and 2 to have a calendar. Maybe Persona 2, I think. Persona 1, I don't think they will. It's just because of so many crazy things that happens in the story and everything, where really just, you never really go to school. You never really, although it does happen at school. I mean, you don't really go to school to do lessons or going classes or anything like that. It's just not really part of the game or the story or anything like that. So in that end, I just wouldn't see it. Now, if they were to remove a calendar, I don't think that would be a big deal, as long as they stick to something like they did with Persona 1 and 2, where the story is just so gripping and so kind of depends on really what they do with the pacing of the game. Frankly, adding a calendar does add a more length or padding to the game, because there's so many additional layers to how you tell a story. Now the story is constrained in a chronological calendar that goes day by day as the story progresses. That's something that Persona 1 and 2 don't have to worry about. They don't have to worry about chronology. You don't have to worry about planning, hanging out with friends. You don't have to worry about any of that. So although there are some constraints that happens when you're trying to do storytelling with the calendar, I do also think that there's a lot of interesting, smart ways that they could use the calendar to kind of make the story interesting, along with whatever is going on in the plot and everything. Anyway, so as far as the actual calendar and what I think they could improve on, definitely one of the biggest things that I really dreaded in Persona 5, not Royal, because Royal kind of fixes, but Persona 5, for a good chunk of the game, you're not really doing anything. Like you're moving around, but really your character isn't like allowed to do anything. So the activities that you will do as a high school student, such as like going out with your friends, eating food, getting a part-time job, they don't really let you do any of that until you're maybe like 10 hours into the game. Other games like Persona 3 and Persona 4 are like much more lenient on that. But even if you in the story, for example, later on, although you can still go out, Morgana, for example, will not let you go out at night. It'll say like, hey, go to sleep, the whole meme and everything. Of course you do, that. Probably you do. Anyway, so that kind of just it leaves you kind of like, am I really in control, or is the calendar really matter at that point? It doesn't really matter at that point. I don't think it does, because the whole thing about a calendar is being able to kind of give you the freedom of choosing what you're going to do in your day-by-day life. Am I gonna hang out with Sawyer today, or am I gonna hang out with a hot teacher today? Those kind of stuff kind of lets you choose how you're going to interact with that. And that's really where the aspect of role playing really comes in, because you are immersed in the story as a high school student, and you gonna get to choose how this high school student is going to interact with the world around him, with the characters around him, with the story. It's almost in a sense what you are the main protagonist, because you get to have that experience of being able to choose as you want to live this particular high school student life and everything. Anyway, so I think one of the things they could add on is kind of let you do more in every day. As I mentioned before, Persona 5 particularly, although they do fix this in Royal and you get to do a lot more things, sometimes there is a lot of constraint on that. I would like to have more freedom. I would like to have more things to do sometimes. Obviously, I think there's some activities that just take way too long. For example, going to like buy a burger, or like drinking coffee on Persona 4, that takes away your whole day. That shouldn't happen. Like, there's just absolutely no reason why going to drink a coffee will take the same amount of working a part-time job or watching a movie, right? Obviously a movie is typically 2-3 hours long, so like maybe like an hour to 2 hours long on a movie. It's not the same as eating food, which is gonna take you maybe 20 minutes, right? You're definitely gonna have more time out of your day. So I think some of those activities could be less lengthy, and that will allow you for more freedom to do other activities and everything like that. Another thing that I feel like could work is also the way that they do, well, along with the social link / confidence. There are certain confidence that you can only meet at certain days and certain times, and there's a lot of constraint on what you can do with that. And I'm not sure exactly how they could fix that, because it's not really a mistake or anything like that, but it's definitely something that could be worked on a little bit more. One of the things that they added in Persona 5 is the fact that you can actually see what other people did in that particular day. Persona 4 Golden actually does the same thing too, where you can kind of look at those activities, and that also gives you a pretty cool idea as far as like what everybody's day is looking like. But I really kind of don't like sometimes the stress of like, oh my god, am I gonna hang out with this character or this character? I'm trying to do 100% run and I cannot make any mistakes, and it kind of gets almost a little stressful and everything. I think that's one of the drawbacks of a calendar. It does kind of make you feel like you're in this bubble of like you have to micromanage every single action that you're doing, and it does kind of take away from kind of like the fun experience of like just enjoying your high school life and everything, right? Anyway, that is pretty much in my kind of arguments about this. I personally would like the calendar to continue, because again, I do find it to be an essential part of the calendar, but I want to hear your thoughts about this, as I mentioned earlier in the video. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below and let me know, do you like the calendar? Do you not like the calendar? Is there any changes that you would like to see to a calendar? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. But before we end this video, I want to thank all the members: Miko, Another Fox, Demicro, H2DK, King Narukami 45, Ethan McNeil, and Rising Oblivion. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. I couldn't make these videos without your help.